Hey everyone, it's Lindsay and I'm back today with the Let's Make a Card video using a brand new stamp set and also a brand new die set from Craftin Desert Divas. So the first thing I did was I used the largest stitched rectangle, plain rectangle in the Fancy Frames die set. I'm going to cut that from some white cardstock. Now I also went ahead and used the two building dies in the buildings die set to go ahead and cut those from black cardstock. Now I'm not going to insert any of the windows or anything, any of the window panels or panes around that or anything. I'm just going to leave those open. I'm applying some multimedia matte to the back of these die cuts, and then I'll just overlay them right on top of some yellow cardstock. And that's going to give me a nice comic book sort of feel to these buildings. Now I just laid those right down on top of that yellow cardstock, put an acrylic block on them, and set them aside to dry. Now I wanted to create kind of a starburst background here, so I'm using some painter's tape to go ahead and mask off little rays, I guess is what you would call them, on my stitched rectangle that I went ahead and die cut from white cardstock. I'm using 3 different colors of Distress ink. I'm using Mustard Seed, Spice Marmalade, and Mermaid Lagoon here, and I'm just switching back and forth between the 3 of them and really just using these to lay down that color and make the rays. Now I didn't have this pattern laid out beforehand at all. I didn't draw in any lines or anything. I am just eyeballing it and winging it as I go. Now I don't need to fill in all that bottom area. I did go a little bit down with some of them, but I don't really need to because those buildings I'm going to end up covering up the majority of this. I just wanted the top to really peek through and give a nice comic book effect. Now if you wanted to take this even one step further, once you're finished with all of your starbursts, you can go in with a dot stamp and black ink or a black pen or marker and just add your little dots like you see in comic books to really make that comic book effect on there. I didn't do that on this one. I just skipped over that part, but I wanted to give you the suggestion because I thought about doing it. I just didn't really have the time to do it this day. So I'm going to finish up with my Mermaid Lagoon right there in that bottom corner. And there I have a nice starburst background ready for my buildings to be placed on top of. I used my long blade scissors just to cut around that yellow cardstock and cut out my buildings. And now I've got yellow windows on the back of my buildings without doing any die cut inlay. So this is just a nice easy cheat technique that I like to use. So I put some fun foam on the back of those buildings, and I have double-sided adhesive on both sides. On this one I did need to cut a little bit away just so it wouldn't stick up from the side of the building. I already had fun foam on the right side of the taller building, so I needed to go ahead and give this a little snip with my scissors. So I gently pulled it up. I'll use my scissors just to clip off that right hand side of adhesive, and then I can remove the backing paper on the other side and just place this down, and everything will be even then. So I just line that up with the left and right side of that rectangle that I had cut out and place that right down at the very bottom as well. So it covered up any spots I missed on the bottom of that rectangle with my Distress ink. So my next step was to pull out my Cape Crusader stamp set from Craftin Desert Divas. This is brand new, and it is a superhero stamp set. There are a ton of great little villains and superheroes and sentiments and all kinds of little accessories you can put with them that are just so adorable. I had a hard time figuring out which ones I wanted to use, but I ended up with this little dog flying through the air, and then there's also the little Joker that is in the bottom left-hand corner that I will stamp out. I'm just stamping these onto white cardstock with Memento ink, and I'll go ahead and color them in very quickly with my alcohol markers. I think if I could have used all of them and squeezed them all onto this smaller card, I probably would have. But I went ahead and went with these 2 images. Now I'm going to go ahead and color these in just very quickly, again with my alcohol markers, and I'm just using whatever colors I reached for. So for my little superhero, I'm using some reds and blues, and then for my Joker, I kind of went with Joker themed colors, so purple and greens, and I threw in a little bit of gold or yellow for little accessories on that guy. Now after each one of these was colored in, I also fussy cut them out, but I do want to mention that if you have an electric cutting machine like your Silhouette, Craftin Desert Divas has SVG cutting files for all of their stamp sets, so you can purchase those. They're only 99 cents a piece, and you can get those and you don't have to fussy cut them out by hand, so that is a great thing to know. Now, after each one of these was fussy cut out also, I do want to say that I went around each one of them with a black marker. So that just covers up any mistakes I might have had while cutting, and it also just gives a nice clean look to the fussy cut images. So on each one I added some double-sided adhesive, and then I'll just place them right down onto my card panel here. So I have my little Joker guy in the bottom left-hand corner, and then I'll put my little flying dog right up above those, or right at the top of those buildings on the right-hand side. And then to finish this card off, I'm just going to put some double-sided adhesive on the back of that panel and lay that right down onto that 4-bar top folding note card that I made beforehand. Now, I did add a few little sequins to this card in black and gold, and these are actually from the Lucky Sequin mix from Craftin Desert Divas. It's a St. Patrick's Day mix, but I just picked out the black and gold sequins, used some glossy accents, and adhered those down right onto that card panel to finish off my card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial on making this cute little comic book card. As always, I will leave you with this close-up and a few pictures of the finished card. For more information and the supply list, you can head to my blog. I will leave that link in the description box below. Thank you guys for watching today, and happy crafting!